Thanks for that. So if you remember, I sent out an email to everyone and said, whoa, 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 we need to pump the brakes on things. We need to change the topic for today to the unfair advantage. And the reason why is because I've had so many conversations over the last few weeks with clients, and the business that they are bringing to us to help them grow is really been, when I look at it, like a Me Too company. And so this is one of the strategies that I give to our clients that I'm going to share with you today, which is unfair advantage. And I want to give an example just to kind of put it in context. Think of Dollar Shave Club. Imagine that you are building a business and you're going into a market where you've got some pretty big incumbents like Schlick and Oral-B that have been dominating the razor market for decades, that have pretty substantial market share and really deep pockets, right? Lots of brand equity. And so I think that's very similar to what a lot of us face in the marketplace when you think of patient engagement solutions, when you think of AI solutions. There's an explosion of innovation. So there's so many different people that are often trying to steal the same kind of customers or do business with the same kind of customers that we are. So how are we going to differentiate ourselves? Well, Dollar Shave Club, I think, is a really great example of being able to leverage an unfair advantage and steal market share, right? So they didn't have a same business model or go-to-market strategy. They didn't have the same marketing message or marketing strategy, but they really leveraged their unfair advantage. And ultimately, if you're not familiar with the story, they ended up accumulating or stealing 8.5% market share of, and that might not seem like that's big of a deal, but they ended up selling for $1 billion to Unilever. So 8.5% market share, leveraging an unfair advantage, can actually be a game changer and help you get to your $1 billion dream business. So what you see here on the screen is the hockey stick growth that we're all really familiar with. And what we're going to talking about today is this growth inflection point. Like, how are we going from the sputtering and this small traction that we're getting to that moment that's going to actually change the trajectory of our growth? So I'm going to share that with you now. The problem is that we think in order to get to those $1 billion dream businesses that we just need to work harder, right? We think that if we just work hard, we kind of have this like hard work society right now. And really, the truth is that success isn't awarded to those who work hard, right? As innovators and entrepreneurs, we're kind of sometimes working 24/7, putting in all of the effort. And the reality is it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. And working hard without working smart is useless. And building and leveraging your unfair advantage is working smarter. So you might be asking yourself, well, what is an unfair advantage? And how is that similar or different to a competitive advantage? Well, they can be used synonymously at different times, but really when we say unfair advantage, we mean that it's going to be something that's like a competitive advantage, but it's even more difficult for the competition to mimic, right? So you want to think about what to yourself and your business, what do you have that no one else has? It's hard for people, your competitors, to buy it, copy it, or steal it. And you'll see here some examples, sometimes, and it could be tangible and intangible. It could be an IP, a patent, or it could be, maybe you've got a connection to the CEO of Teladoc. Maybe you've got a platform business with a network effect. It can be a number of different things. And so I want to kind of give you an example of what could be an unfair advantage if you don't have one, or if you're looking for another one to leverage. And the reason why I'm going to share this one with you today is that all of the research that I've done shows that the number one reason why an innovation fails is because there's no market need. Innovators are really excited about building technology solutions and spending millions of dollars on it, only to find out when they can't get to that growth inflection point that nobody wants to buy their stuff. And so this is an unfair advantage that you can deploy to kind of mitigate that. And so the unfair advantage that I'm going to talk about today is really being able to test those business ideas that you have and run experiments. So that way you can stop wasting time and resources on bad ideas. Who doesn't want to stop wasting time and resources on bad ideas? I know I do. I know I've spent a whole lot of time stewing and investing resources in bad ideas. Don't want to do that anymore. And so why do we have such a high failure rate of no market need? Like, what's going on there? And the reason is because there's really these 6 biases that are kind of innate to all human beings. So if you find yourself in one of these 6 as you're reading through it, don't take it personal. We probably have all been there. So number 1 is selection bias. So this is where, you're building a solution. Maybe you have an idea and you're asking your friends and your colleagues to validate that this is a good idea, to validate some of the features and functionality. And all your friends are like, yeah, that's great. Yeah, absolutely. But the only people you're asking are these select few that that are going to agree with your idea. Acquiesce bias is that when we're asking people that will never tell us that our baby is ugly. And how many times do you hear other people's innovative ideas and you're like, ooh, I don't know about that. I can't imagine anybody buying that. But you never when the innovator asks you, well, what do you think? Like, you think this is a good idea? Most of the time we're like, yeah, that's a great idea. We're not telling people that their baby is ugly. So there's these 6 biases, but there's also this other one, what I call the hippo in the room. It is the highest paid person's opinion. And I like to say that if you don't know who the hippo is, it might be you. So think about scenarios of being in an office where you've got a group of people sitting around a conference table and everybody is going back and forth on whether you should build this or not, whether you should serve this customer or not, whether you should have these features and functionality or not. And the person's opinion that trumps everything else that's discussed in the room is the highest paid person. And sometimes as the CEO and the founder or the co-founder, we can be really, we can be the ones that are doing that. And so with the hippo and the 6 biases, these are things that really hinder us from making sure that there's market need and making sure that we're testing the hypotheses that we have, all these ideas, to see if they're good or bad. So the way that we can overcome that is building a culture and a model for testing and experimenting every idea that we have. So if you're in the early stage of your business, then you're thinking customer discovery. You're thinking some kind of market validation. If you're in the later stage, you might be thinking about running experiments. And so the argument that I make is that if you don't have an unfair advantage, here's an example of one that you can leverage, creating this culture of testing experimentation, and that it will reduce the level of risk and uncertainty in everything that you're doing. And you might be asking yourself, well, Roxy, what do I test? Well, here's an example right here. And what I tell our clients is, like, you really want to stack the deck in your favor if you want to be successful and kind of have a always be testing mindset. So market need, new products, messaging, funnels, customer experiences. As you get more advanced and sophisticated in the growth of your business, you have an opportunity to test more and different things. So let's get into breakout rooms. Let's talk about the challenges that you're experiencing on leveraging the unfair advantage, and what are some things that your peers might be able to do to kind of break through and be like Dollar Shave Club, win that market share, and sell your company for $1 billion.